Former President Donald Trump must feel as though this is the year that just won't end because of the way his actions are starting to cost him publicly, painfully, and financially. Trump is notorious for avoiding responsibility, but in the second half of 2022, he came under scrutiny in a way that complicated matters for the 2024 contender. His Florida resort was searched by the FBI, and secret documents were taken. His company was found to have committed criminal tax fraud. House Democrats released information about his tax returns. They are anticipated to release his actual returns before handing over control of the committee to Republicans, who won a smaller than expected majority as a result of Trump's influence, next year. Republicans lost the majority in the Senate after a number of candidates Trump supported fell short in crucial contests. The former president is not currently facing any criminal charges. However, the Justice Department has appointed a special counsel to lead two Trump-related investigations into the storage of documents at Mar-a-Lago and the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. It's difficult to objectively dismiss the House committee's damning 800-page detailed report, which details Trump's attempts to rig the 2020 presidential election and his role in instigating rioters to attack the Capitol. Trump has railed against the House committee investigating the January 6 uprising, and his most ardent supporters have tried to stonewall it. Trump must still wait to find out the results of the Justice Department's own twin investigations, even though the committee's criminal referrals of the former president are largely symbolic. While other candidates are still considering their options over the holidays, there is no indication that the former president, who announced his third non-consecutive presidential bid last month, has done much to narrow the GOP field. Trump's facade of power is continuing to crumble as a result of both major developments, like the committee report from January 6, and minor details. The uncomfortable truth that even his loudest adherents on Fox News knew his 2020 election fantasy was false is concealed in court documents. The Fox News opinion host Sean Hannity acknowledged that he didn't for 1 second believe the claims of fraud that he helped promote. Although it might be comforting for Fox viewers to hear that from Hannity, the admission was made in a deposition and not on air, as part of the $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit Dominion Voting Systems filed against the conservative network. According to texts, Hannity maintained regular contact with Mark Meadows, Trump's former chief of staff, in the days preceding January 6. The knowledge of the truth by the conservative elites in Trump's inner circle gives context to the concerns over election fraud they used to persuade Republican lawmakers to pass new election security laws in crucial states. The reality of taxes: Trump's tax information was disclosed by House Democrats without his permission, confirming what anyone could have predicted: that he didn't pay federal income tax during the year that he served as president. Even in years like 2018, when he paid roughly $1 million in federal taxes, the rate he paid a little over 4% was comparable to the lowest rate. Trump's tax bill differs significantly from that of average wage earners in America, which can be partially attributed to the special tax rules for real estate moguls that Congress has been unable to address. But in the end, the former president appears to have avoided taxes. In 2016, Trump broke with convention by withholding the release of all of his personal tax returns. However, his team made an immediate effort to weaponize the disclosure of his information. Trump spokesperson Stephen Chung stated last week that if this injustice can happen to President Trump, it can happen to all Americans without cause. Trump made sure to exert his influence during the 2022 midterm elections, but some members of his party have pointed the finger at him for the GOP's lackluster performance after Republicans failed to secure a red wave. He now has to contend with surveys like the one conducted by CNN earlier this month, which revealed that the majority of Republicans and independents who lean Republican want the party to nominate someone other than Trump in 2024. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is their top choice for replacement. A CNN poll found that among Republicans, the GOP governor had much higher favorability ratings than Trump, who was soundly re-elected last month. That's bad news for a man who immediately began his second presidential campaign in the 2024 Republican field by jumping to the front of the pack. Even his staunchest defenders are getting sick of some of his antics. The $99 Trump-themed digital trading cards came out at the wrong time for the NFT market and were mocked even by his most ardent supporters. Former advisor Stephen Bannon, who disregarded a subpoena from the committee on January 6, was sentenced to 4 months in jail for contempt of Congress and said, "I can't do this anymore." He filed an appeal against that conviction. Many of the problems that plagued Trump in 2022 won't end with the new year and might even get worse. His company will also be subject to civil lawsuits from the New York Attorney General in 2023 after being found guilty of tax fraud in late 2022. Trump needs to be concerned about more than just special counsel Jack Smith when it comes to election fraud. According to a CNN report from earlier this month, a special grand jury in the Atlanta area looking into attempts by Trump and his allies to rig the Peach State's 2020 election has already started writing its final report. The panel will use that as a means of recommending to Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis whether or not to press charges. The Electoral Count Act update, which makes it clear that attempts like Trump's after 2020 to exploit out-of-date language in federal election law and undermine the Electoral College can never again occur, was one of the final bipartisan initiatives lawmakers agreed on this month. Despite the fact that Trump hopes to win the presidency again,